Okay, tonight's speech is an informational speech, and it is on compound interest. If you take 1 penny and double it every day, so that on day 2 you have 2 pennies, on day 3 you have 4, on day 4 you have 8, and so on. In 28 days, you will have more than $1.3 million. According to the website careforyourfuture.org, if you charge $2,000 on the typical credit card today that charges 20% interest, and you make only your minimum monthly payment, it will take you more than 15 years to pay off that debt, and you will pay a total of $4,240, or more than double the original amount. Those are 2 examples of how compound interest works. Compound interest is a very powerful concept that affects all of us economically over the course of our lives. In fact, Albert Einstein called compound interest the 8th wonder of the world. And unless you live off the grid and totally on cash, at some point in your life, if you deposit money in the bank or take out a loan, compound interest is either working for you or against you, and it can have a positive or negative effect on us economically. Now, me personally, I've taken a keen interest in personal finance since I was a young adult, so I've kind of studied and worked hard to enhance the positive effects of compound interest in my life through investment accounts, and I've also tried to keep consumer debt low, which would minimize the negative effects of compound interest. Today I'm going to define the concept of compound interest and show how it affects us negatively and positively. Now, what is compound interest? Compound interest is simply interest that has been earned on a principal amount plus any past interest. For example, let's say you have $100 and you earn 10% interest on that annually. After 1 year, you would have $110. Now, after the second year, you will get interest on the original $100 plus the $10. So after the second year, you get $11 in interest. Now, as that carries on, think of an inverted pyramid. You start with one amount, and over time, that amount grows exponentially. What makes compound interest so effective? Initial interest rate and time. Compound interest does work in 2 ways. It can work for you or against you. For example, it works in your favor from interest earned on savings or checking accounts, maybe even bonds. Anybody who might invest in government bonds or something, you earn interest on those. And for the more enterprising investor, stock dividends and appreciation for anybody who would invest in the stock market. Now, a good example of that, Investopedia.com gave an example of Coca-Cola. In 1919, Coca-Cola started selling stock to the public. And at that time, you could get 1 Coca-Cola stock for $40. Now, let's say you had bought a share of Coke stock in 1919 for $40, and you reinvested all the dividends, and you put that away in a lockbox for your great-grandchildren. Well, in 2015, some 96 years later, when your great-grandchildren opened that lockbox, from that $140 share of Coca-Cola stock, they would have had a windfall of $9.8 million. So that's another example of compound interest. Now, how it can work against you would be interest on credit cards, and I gave you the example at the beginning of the speech. And for some of you already, and myself included, and for some of you younger people in the future, when you buy a home, you have to take out a mortgage. Now, a $100,000 mortgage at a 4.25% interest rate, which is about what rates go for today, on a 30-year mortgage, which is a term a lot of people will take out for, that $100,000 mortgage will end up costing you $177,098. So over the course of 30 years, a $100,000 home is going to cost almost twice as much, not quite, but more than $100,000. The last way I would say that compound interest would work against you is the opportunity cost of compound interest, or how much would you have lost if you could have invested money at a certain interest rate, or instead of spending it out as interest, paying on a loan. And one of my favorite examples of this comes from the book The Snowball by Alice Schroeder. The billionaire investor Warren Buffett in 1956 scoffed at paying $10 for a haircut because he thought that if he had invested that, that in the long run, that haircut might have cost him several $100,000. Well, as it turns out, Mr. Buffett was a little conservative in his estimate, because if he would have invested that $10 in his own investment company, Berkshire Hathaway, 58 years later, in 2014, that one $10 investment would have been worth over $1 million. So this is an example of the power of compound interest working for you and against you. In conclusion, I have defined what compound interest is and given an example how it affects our economic lives. And given this understanding, you can apply this wisdom in your own life to lessen the negative effects and enhance the positive effects of compound interest. Thanks.